Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It is TCB Tuesday again. I'm going to allow a little time for folks to log on, but once you do, please comment and say hello in the comments. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, let us know where you're watching from. I'm very, very excited to have a guest on today, Brandon Acker. We will see him in just a second. But before we get started, I wanted to remind you, I'm Angela Young-Smucker. I'm Third Coast Baroque Executive Director, and this is our weekly series, Meet the Artist. You can also get more of Third Coast Baroque if you follow us online. You can go to thirdcoastbaroque.org, find us on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. We're on the interwebs. Come join us. Find out more. We'd love to connect with you. You can follow, subscribe, and do all that fun stuff on all of those social media channels. And we look forward to having a conversation with you today and in the future. I would also like to remind you, if you are watching this later on, or if you're not able to watch from beginning live, all of these episodes are archived on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, so you can access them there if you missed anything before. We've been having some really fun conversations. What else do I want to tell you? Oh, yes. We recently started a Third Coast Baroque Artist Support Fund, and I just have to say a great big thank you to everyone who's already donated toward that fund. Any donation that is indicated to go into this fund goes directly towards artist pay. And that's not only right now to help share relief during this time of unemployment. All of our artists are unemployed right now and having to pivot and figure out how to make a living when they can't perform and give live concerts. So we are helping our artists out by starting the support fund, and we do have a matching challenge going on right now. Thanks to our board members, we are matching up to $2,000 right now just to get the fund started. We hope to increase that number very soon. So you can go to thirdcoastbaroque.org/donate to help out there. And we hope you will. Now, I am going to stop my yapping. I'm going to bring on a friend of mine, Mr. Brandon Acker. Oops, he's coming on. There he is. Hi, Brandon.
Hey.
How's it going?
Oh, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm great. You know, it's a balmy 300 degrees down here in Florida, so we're doing great.
Well, I'm chilly.
That's all right. We'll all get warmed up. I see you're in your home studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tricked out with all the cool stuff.
Yeah, I have. We just moved into this condo, thanks to your previous guest, Dan Pine, who helped us as a wonderful real estate agent and good guy, such a mensch. And so we found this place, and although we're quarantined, at least we made it in. We had to rush our move, but we made it, and now we're locked in here, so we can decorate and paint and all that. So.
Oh my gosh! Well, welcome home.
Thank you. It feels good.
It looks like we've got some folks tuned in on YouTube and Facebook. Hey, John. Hey, Tim. Like Brandon, you've got one of your subscribers as well.
Cool.
That's fantastic. Matthias, fabulous. Well, thank you all for joining us today. Just a reminder, if any of you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the comments section on YouTube or Facebook, and we will try to get to those questions in today's episode. All right, Brandon, I'm going to start the way I start with everybody. I want to know, what is your musical origin story? How did you get started in all this crazy stuff?
To be honest, I think it all comes back to this moment. When I was 11, I have a twin brother, identical twin, and we were called the worst twins ever growing up because we hated each other. Now we love each other; it's great, but we hated each other. We were the most competitive people on the planet. And one day, my mom turns to us and says, "Hey, I have a friend. He's the best guitarist in town. You guys want to take guitar lessons?" And I was forming the word no, and my brother said, "Yeah," and I said, Yeah, me too. So it all started by copying my brother, and we signed up, took lessons in a trailer by the river in Wisconsin.
Wow. Okay, this is getting better every second. Okay.
Yeah, and so I learned how to play electric guitar. I was interested in rock music.
Okay.
So yeah, that was the beginning, and played in some rock and metal bands throughout middle school and high school and early college, and was a total headbanger.
Wow. Well, I thought that it might be a little interesting to share some of this metal history of yours with our viewers today. So if you give me 1 second, I think I'll be able to share. This is, what was the name of your group?
Fragile Utopia.
Fragile Utopia. And how old were you?
This is around the age of like 16, 17 to 20, 21.
Okay, this is excellent. All right, well, we are going to get a taste of this. This is a rippin' Brandon Acker solo. Okay, I absolutely love this. But I think in order to get the full effect of this incredible metal headbanger, we need to see
you gotta
what was Brandon looking like at that time. And I think we have some photos. Yes.
Oh, here we go.
Look at these luscious locks, my friends. I'm absolutely jealous. I mean, and so how old are you
again? 19?
Wow. I mean, I'm thinking Thompson twins, but better. I mean, look at this.
These are the promo shots for this CD Alive. These are great musicians here. We had such a good time, and all around it was just an incredible experience. And I miss like the raw intensity of the shows. Like there's, people show up and then they just go crazy, and there'd be mosh pits, and like my signature thing was I had a wireless guitar plug-in, and so we had this last song we used to play called Machine. And so it was the craziest song we had. And our fans started to learn the song Machine. And then so we'd say, last chance, here's Machine. And then I'd jump in the audience with the guitar and then do the moshing with the guitar.
Oh my
gosh. And so it was
flexible.
Yeah, exactly. I'll try that with the Theorbo at our next concert. We'll see how it goes.
Oh my gosh, this is incredible. Okay. Oh, hey, we have a question from, I assume probably one of your YouTube subscribers, if your twin plays music as well.
Yeah, my twin brother is an amazing singer and multi-instrumentalist. He just sang the lead role in Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat and killed it. He's such a good singer. And he kept up the guitar with me for a long time. And I would have to say that I'm not sure if I would have ever, number one, started if it wasn't for him, but also because he'd get a little bit better than me. And I'd say, well, that can't be. And so I'd get better than him. And then he'd say, well, I'm not going to allow that. And then we kept upping each other. And that was one of the reasons we practiced so much as, 13-year-old. And so he's still a good guitar player. He's a really good piano player. And so, yeah, we both play lots of instruments and occasionally get the chance to play together. So that's cool.
All right. So what's your current inventory of instruments?
Oh, my God. How much time we got? Well, I'm looking at my wall over here. Electric guitar, 2 classical guitars, 19th century guitar, steel string, Renaissance lute, Baroque guitar. I'm borrowing a Renaissance guitar, Theorbo, Baroque lute, electric bass, and then an assortment of world instruments that I don't play professionally. Oh, ukulele also.
Yeah, so we're just about at a dozen.
It's an addiction. It's a slippery slope.
Amazing. This is amazing. Okay, so how how in the world did you transition from heavy metal to Baroque music? Like, what?
Good question. Uh, well, I think there's an in between step.
Okay.
I didn't go from being in a metal band to playing the lute. That's for sure.
I mean, it's such a natural next step. I mean,
well, if you next time you meet a lute player, if you ask them how did you get started on playing the lute, I'll bet you that they at least played electric guitar, if not rock guitar. I mean, Paul Odette, one of the most famous lute players, I was in a rock band growing up too. So like, it's not uncommon. There's some type of weird bridge here that makes sense. For me, it came time for college. I knew I was going to do music, but I didn't know what I was going to do. I was doing a lot of recording with my band. We kind of figured out how to make a recording studio, and we recorded those CDs ourselves. And so that's why I do audio stuff also, because we just kind of figured it out. So I decided I'd go to college for recording, and I found DePaul in Chicago. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin, and they said, well, you need an instrument. You have to do guitar, but you can do jazz or classical. I didn't know how to play either one. I didn't know anything about jazz. So, and I could fake a little bit of classical, like Spanish guitar. I could play the song from the movie Desperado with Antonio Banderas. I could play that, and so I could fake it, the right hand stuff. And so I went into my audition.
So could he.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I went into my college audition saying, I guess I'm going to play classical guitar. So I memorized 30 minutes of music from guitar tabs. And I couldn't read music. So I went in, and I think I equally impressed and offended the guitar teacher. And so I was going to do a recording major, and then he convinced me to do a double degree in guitar. So guitar and recording. And then halfway, like 2 years in, I competed in this competition and won. And I was like, oh, I won. That's cool. And I was really excited about it. And I'm like, well, okay, maybe I can do this. And then I decided if I'm going to do one or the other, I need to pick one. I'm not going to do both and kind of halfway do it. So I dropped this recording, became a classical guitarist, and then ended up doing one more degree in classical guitar. But so anyway, long story short, I was a classical guitarist, did degrees in that. And when you're doing classical guitar degrees, you do literature classes where you learn all about where the guitar comes from, and the lutes and early guitars and all that stuff. And I thought it was so cool. And eventually made my way to an early music festival where I actually got to play a Theorbo and a Baroque guitar and lute. And that's when I was bitten by the bug. And I just couldn't believe how cool they were. So I bought one lute, and then it was just got to catch them all kind of a thing.
Okay, now about how long ago was that when you first got your hands on a lute?
2011. Maybe it was 2010. I think was my first early music festival. So for like a couple summers in a row, I went to a week-long early music festival in Madison, which was a really great time. And so I got a week each year to experiment with some lutes. Finally, around 2013, I think 2014, I bought a Renaissance lute and started kind of dabbling, playing a couple of recitals with singers of Dowland. And then by 2015 or 16, I bought a Theorbo. And that's when things just escalated, because once you have a Theorbo, you are immediately employed. So
go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, I was immediately dropped into the snake pit thanks to, I think I posted a thing saying, I just bought a Theorbo, yay. And our friend Jerry Luzik, who's a concertmaster and everything at all these early music groups in town, she goes, hey, want to play in a John Passion? And I said, sure. And I didn't even know how to tune the thing yet. So I just figured it out, and ever since then I've loved the instruments, and I've been doing a lot of gigging on it.
Oh man. Well, and I think that speaks to probably why you have excelled at it is you're always learning and being open to learning.
You have to. Yeah. But that's also my favorite thing about early music is everybody's in that boat, because no one was there. We don't have any recordings, so there's some level of speculation, and you have to get all the historical information you can, but at the end of the day, collaborate with people and do your best using your intuition to make some real music. And you're always asking questions and always humble enough to say, I don't know if this is it, but this sounds good. And I love that. So
yeah, it's like I can't remember who in my circle said this a while back, but it's like we're all little detectives trying to track down the real story of what happened. And I love it.
musical archaeologists.
Exactly. Always digging. Always digging.
Yeah.
Well, I want to share another little clip. Speaking of the Theorbo, you recently did an arrangement of a Handel aria, which is one of his most famous arias, Lascia, which is from his opera Rinaldo. And a year ago at this time, Third Coast Baroque was doing Handel's very first oratorio, The Triumph of Love and Disenchantment. And that's the origin of that aria. It was first Lascia la Spina. And then Handel, being a young 22-year-old at that time, was like, I'm going to borrow from myself and reuse all this music because people loved it the first time. Why wouldn't they love it some more? So it sort of really skyrocketed. I think it would have been on a Casey Kasem chart had they been around. But let's hear a little bit and watch a little bit of Brandon playing Lascia la Spina. I'm sorry, Lascia Chiocchianga. Oh, hang on. Come on, friends. Here we go. Sorry. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Thanks.
So, and folks, if you want to hear these videos in full, you can go to Brandon's YouTube channel and just see all sorts of incredible things that you're doing. I mean, you're posting beautiful performances. You're also posting instructional videos about how to practice and all sorts of wonderful things.
That's new. Yeah. I had a lot of requests to teach some things, and I've been doing a lot of teaching for years. And so I made a couple videos, guitar tip videos, and then those people seem to really want more. And so I've been having fun making those. And then I've started a series that I really am passionate about. I can't tell you how many times after every single concert, that's one thing about early music, is every single concert includes an instrument petting zoo at the end, where you just expect there's going to be a line at the end where people come up to the stage and say, what are these and how does it work? And you have to, so I have just all these spiels I've given about, how these instruments work. And so I thought it'd be fun in using a video, actually doing some serious research beyond what I've already done, and then telling the story of the instrument, playing some examples, showing nice pictures, showing the facsimiles and all these things. And so I have this little introducing series where I'm planning to end up showing, at least a dozen, if not more, instruments. And my last one was one that I don't play professionally, the Arabic oud. So I've started learning instruments just to show them. So I think I'm going to try the sitar and the the pipa and all these different instruments. So yeah, there's going to be all sorts of a variety of things on there: guitar tips, introducing series stuff, and just performance.
I love it.
Videos.
Well, speaking of experimenting with new instruments, we do have a question from one of our YouTube viewers about Greek music, and he's wondering if you have heard of the bouzouki.
Bouzouki, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I'll pull up a picture, make sure it's the one I'm thinking of here. So
Uh-huh.
here's the thing about about plucked instruments in general.
Uh-huh.
Every single time that I think I have a grasp on the plucked instruments in the world, I discover like 20 more. And then when I was doing research on the history of the oud and the history of the guitar and things, I realized you can go back 3,000 years to ancient Mesopotamia.
Right.
And even then, like you're talking about such a variety of plucked instruments, it's insane.
Yeah.
The amount of the evolutionary tree of lutes and things is so crazy.
Oh,
so there's so many that I'll never get to all of them. But so yes, I do know what the bouzouki is. I've never played one.
Right. Well, it looks like you've got an audience ready and waiting to see you experiment with that.
I hope to get one in my hands at some point. That'd be cool.
Well, so I wanna shift gears for just a second. So this whole web series with Third Coast Baroque started because of the current situation that we're in right now with this pandemic. And I know that for a lot of us who are also performers, you know, everything we had on our calendar in terms of performances is gone for the foreseeable future. I mean, people are getting canceled all the way through a year from now or more than a year from now. So how have you been managing the effects of this pandemic?
Well, I think we're all kind of continually surprised. You know, it's like when I had one gig canceled, I thought, oh my God, I can't believe that's actually happening. You know, we're actually losing concerts. And I thought maybe one or two, and then they kept coming. And then I kind of realized it would last longer. And now every day I think I hear someone say a further date, and I keep hearing further and further. Because then there's, you know, the question of, besides what's actually canceled now, like say we open up the shelter in place order and say, okay, concerts go back to normal. People aren't going to be rushing out to a 2,000 person hall to be locked in there for 3 hours. So it's a very weird, unpredictable thing. Personally, you know, like the rest of my colleagues, a long list of cancellations that I was really looking forward to. I was going to do potentially all three of the Monteverdi operas in the spring. That was going to be really exciting. And a Vespers, my first Vespers, with our friend Deborah Fox. I was going to get to play with her for the first time, and I was looking forward to that. And so a lot of bummers. Really looking forward to those things. Of course, Haymarket's Papaya. Those are all going to be really exciting things. So I got a lot of cancellations, and I have looks like I have some friends here from YouTube who are commenting. It's thanks to these guys that I have something to do. I put a plug, realizing that all my entire schedule was canceled. I put a plug on YouTube saying, "Hey, I'll teach them some Skype lessons," and the response has been amazing. So I've accepted lots of new Skype students, and I've been really busy doing that, meeting a lot of wonderful people in the Netherlands.
Where are these folks from?
This is so cool. I've been meeting people around the world. The Netherlands, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, London, New Zealand, everywhere.
Wow, New Zealand. I think that's probably the roughest time swing there.
It is one of us are always really tired. But it's so cool, and I'm learning. You know, I have this student his Danish student who's like, his name is Frederick, but I was like, no, but how do you say your name? I wanted to learn he said it, and he goes like, I thought he was going to say like, you know, Frederick or something like that, and he said you'll never get it because it involves this like ooh, this ooh sound that I couldn't do. I'm like, okay, you're right. There's no way I'm going to do that. Oh
man, I feel like we need some voice diction coaching going on. Ooh.
Yeah, I could use it.
The International Phonetic Alphabet, we're coming for you.
I'm interested. So I've been having a great time meeting people and teaching, and also taking some lessons of my own. You know, I'm also I've signed up for some lessons with some really, you know, I'm such a fan of some of these players in Europe that I've always wanted to study with. That, you know, they're too busy each day, each week they're in a new country playing, and so I'm taking some lessons and really excited about that as well. So hopefully this quarantine can be a time of, you know, intense study and growth as well. Yeah,
that's incredible. It's really incredible. I think Some people don't realize as musicians, for some of us, it's hard to make music right now, period. There are a lot of folks who are doing, at home performances, solo performances, or if they happen to live with another musician, they're making music that way, which is that's incredible.
Yeah, it's heartwarming.
And I know we've seen a lot of virtual music making as well, a lot of virtual choirs and orchestras getting going. And I know you're currently working on something for Third Coast, which is super fun. I can't wait to release that.
It's going to be so cool.
We have to get a couple more conspirators in the game with us, and so folks, do keep an eye out for that. We'll be sharing that hopefully within the coming weeks, which is great. So with all of this work on YouTube, I mean, you've got almost 150,000 subscribers on YouTube.
It's crazy.
That's unbelievable. Can you maybe just share a few tips for anybody who's interested in starting a YouTube channel? Can you give folks some tips about some good best practices, some realistic expectations going into this?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I was thinking about that. First, I would say invest some time into really learning how to make a nice looking video. There's so many YouTube tutorials you can watch. If you can play as you can be the best player in the world, but if your video is shot, and you're not lit well, and you just have an iPhone camera mic and all that kind of stuff, you might not get the full effect. So learn about using an external microphone, like a Zoom microphone. Learn about some lighting tips. Learn how to use some video editing software. So at least like the production looks like nice. I think that really, really helps. Then I think also collaborate with other people. Like these virtual collaborations are great. But sometimes people are talking about, I see on Facebook, people are doing this great thing where they're subscribing to each other's YouTube channels in an attempt to get past 1,000 subscribers, because then you can monetize. And a great way to get more subscribers is to collaborate with other YouTubers who maybe have more subscribers, and then you kind of get each other's audience. So virtually, it's very easy to do now. So I would say that would be really smart. And lastly, just know that you need to play the long game. You're not going to post a video and your first video might get 20 views, and that might be it. And mine did. I started 10 years ago, just posting because I could, just uploading my recitals and stuff. And then it wasn't until last year where things started getting bigger, and it was really exciting. And since then, I've been trying to spend more time investing on how to do better video and getting some better equipment to up the quality. Also doing more educational stuff as a way of keeping people interested in kind of building a community of guitarists who are an early plucked instrumentalist, and also just enthusiasts who want to learn more about these instruments. So I would say play the long game in that. Just keep regularly uploading videos. Know that you won't get immediate attention and you won't get immediate lots of views, but people start to recognize, oh, if on Tuesdays this person uploads a beautiful video on the viola da gamba, it's such an amazing sound, I'm going to come back next Tuesday. And so you can start to build a community of people who follow, and just know that it won't happen overnight, but play the long game, keep uploading, invest some time in making the videos look nice, and collaborate.
Yeah, I love it. And speaking of building a community, I mean, you seem to have built some regulars, people who know you, people who've been commenting today on this live stream. How do you stay engaged with this community that you've been building?
Well, that's one of the reasons I started doing these educational videos was, when you just perform, especially on like a plucked instrument, you're not speaking, and like your personality doesn't shine through. So I think you're kind of anonymous, and even though there's videos of you. So when you speak in the videos, and I try to always start by saying, "Hey everyone," and like as if I'm just like in a room with them. And I think kind of it personalizes.
Wait, you don't start with, "Oh, hello." For those of you For those of you who missed out on our little video promo from last year's Triumph performance, go to Third Coast Baroque's YouTube page and find the promotional video that starts with Brandon. It'll make your day. So maybe start with that one next time.
There we go.
Hello.
Right.
Anyway.
I think the point is that it helps personalize you, and you feel like there's some YouTube people that I've thanks to social media and YouTube and things that I like, other lute players that I've met, that I've seen talk so much online and on YouTube and all these things, that when I meet them in person, I go, oh, hey man, like I know them personally, and I realize, oh, actually we never even met in person, but it's such a cool time because you can never meet someone and feel like you know them.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's the beauty of YouTube. And so yeah, I think it's a really cool thing. And I'm seeing in the comments here, yeah, we got, this is amazing. There's a hello from Beijing, China. Hello, Yang. And Kamal from Morocco.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love it. We've got people from all over the country and all over the world. We're so glad you're with us today. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is super fun. I absolutely adore it. Thanks. Well, so I want to shift again just for a second. First of all, thank you for sharing your experience with YouTube. I think some people don't realize there's a lot of legwork that goes into this, right? Just like building any sort of freelance career, there's a lot of parts and pieces that have to fit together to make it's the duck on water sort of metaphor. It looks like it's, going like just easy peasy, and underneath it's just crazy.
Oh,
kicking and scratching. So
I wasn't familiar with that one. It's like, where's she going with this?
Yeah. So I want to ask you, you started with Third Coast Baroque back in the spring of 2017. That was in our very first season. Yeah. We played a program we called Groove, which was based on some dances called the Chacon and the Passacaglia. And those are dance forms that have repetitive patterns in them, which I sort of relate to pop music today, because pop music, jazz music, blues, whatever, a lot of it has those, those repeating patterns. But you joined us on that, and that was super fun. Oh, yeah. So it's been a few years now. Let me ask you, what has surprised you over these past few seasons being a part of Third Coast Baroque? Something maybe you didn't expect, or were pleasantly surprised by, or enjoyed. Favorite memory?
Oh, wow. I have a lot of really good memories with Third Coast. Oh. I think that, particularly Third Coast has such a great regular assortment of members that it feels like a fun, cozy family, and everyone is so nice. Everybody is so open. I had never experienced someone saying like, this is how it goes, you have to do it like this. This is like, everyone's open-minded. Everybody is having fun, and the music, the programs are also always so well done and so well conceived of. And so, and then of course, when we actually end up performing it, of course, Ruben, the director, he brings such enthusiasm. And there's this cliche of the authoritative dictator conductor who, if you make a mistake, like looks at you like you've ruined the piece. I've experienced that before. I once made a mistake. I think I once made a mistake in our program. I had some type of missed bass note or something in that Triumph program, and Ruben looked at me and he winked at me and smiled and just kept going, and I felt actually better than I did a minute ago and was more relaxed. And I think I never have so much fun as I do with the Third Coast program. So I'm so happy to be a part of the group.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, on behalf of everybody in the group, thank you. And I'm really glad that you're with us too. I mean, I think, one of the things that I've loved over the last few years is, like you said, this core of regulars, and that kind of happens in any group. You build that camaraderie with the folks, and you build that relationship with your colleagues and your partners. But yeah, I will second that Ruben does give some really positive positive energy about working together. And yes, sometimes we'll make a little clunker here and there. I've had plenty. What do we call those, brown notes? Is that what that?
Oh yeah.
Does that work? Okay, brown notes. I learned about brown notes before we came on, folks. This is super silly.
My lute was out of tune. That I had a peg slip, and it just I mean, this lowest pitch I've ever heard in my life.
I can't use that excuse. I have no pegs that slip. It's just.
There's lots of excuses for lutes. Trust me. Okay. Every time I hear a pop, I go, huh?
Well, I'm just so tickled that you've been a part of Third Coast Baroque over these last few years, and I'm really looking forward to the fun stuff ahead. I'm hoping that we get to officially announce our season for next season very soon. Oh, yeah. I know with everything being the way it is, you know, we're not quite sure what's going to happen in the fall. You know, I know universities and schools are still trying to figure out what they're doing, and so are we. So, you know, I always appreciate everybody's patience and understanding as we are careful evaluating what's best. But when we do get back in that concert hall, I think we're all gonna have a rockin' good time.
I think there's gonna be rejuvenated enthusiasm, and we'll be also appreciative to, you know, just to be there and to do something that isn't just virtual, which is a good time. But you know, there's nothing like reacting to another musician in real time. So yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, you know, Dan Pine and I talked last week on Thursday. Dan Pine was our founding board president, and I have definitely dubbed him the Chicago classical superfan. But we talked about energy of an audience, and you know, those of us who are on stage, boy, I mean, we feel that. We feel that energy not only amongst ourselves on stage, but coming from the audience. And I don't know about you, Brandon, but I am so ready to share that with people again.
Of course.
Yeah.
Course.
Oh my gosh. So we are getting toward the end of our time, but I'd like to stop for just a second and see if we have any other questions. Yes. So we have a question from just Irene. What made you fall in love with the oud?
Oh. Yeah, I am borrowing an oud right now that should have been only for like a week, and now it's during the quarantine because I couldn't return it before the quarantine started. And I borrowed the oud. I rented it to do a video on sort of the history of the guitar, talking about its origins. And although the oud isn't necessarily a direct ancestor, when I discovered being a lute player, the lute is a direct ancestor. So the lute came into existence because, you know, the Moors conquered Spain in 711. They brought with them the oud, and then the Europeans turned that into the lute. And so I've been having played lute for a while and being really interested in that. You know, it's just inevitable that one day you're going to go, wait a minute, what's this oud thing though? Exactly, how does it work? And then, wait, it doesn't have any frets. How do you not play it? It doesn't have any frets. How do you even make sound on it? And so I picked one up and started jamming on it. And I had this great oud lesson with this amazing player in town named Moniz, and he taught me how to play the various maqams, the kind of like scales, and use the fretless thing to create ornaments and be very vocal, and play things like half sharps and half flats, the in between notes that we don't have in Western music. And
I got plenty of those, Brandon.
It's so cool. It's so cool. And so I think I'm fascinated by the improvisatory aspect of the music, by the new scales, how each scale has its own affect and character to it. It is beautiful music, and so it's very intimidating, you know, like playing some music that you didn't grow up hearing, because it's not in your bones. You know, you just don't have that. You don't have the sounds in your ear. So I have to listen a lot and kind of imitate. But whenever you get something even a little bit kind of close, you go, that was so cool. I'm gonna do it again. So yeah,
Well,
the oud is fascinating.
that makes me think of the Florentine Camerata, which was they started up in the 16th century, um, looking back at ancient Greek music, and this is sort of how this Baroque music began and how opera began,
Yeah.
because they were taking a look at Greek theater and they were trying to emulate that as best as they could figure out. But as a result, they created this entirely new musical genre. And I'm supposed to take my doctoral history exam at some point, so I need to study and review that just a little bit more.
Sounds like
Get
you got
all the facts right.
it.
Before I forget, Brandon, we saw you playing the Theorbo in the Handel video. Would you mind just doing a quick side-by-side comparison of you so we can get an idea of the size of this instrument?
I always have a Theorbo ready, so let's.
All right, well, I'm going to let you take over and you can show us what the Theorbo looks like next to a regular-sized human being. I call this thing a super lute. I know it's based off of the lute, but there you go. Now, it is the same size as you.
We are the same height.
I love it. I love it. Come on back.
Sure.
This is amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. Do you want to play a little bit?
Sure.
Just pluck a few notes. Get those cans back on.
This is my daily thing with my Skype lessons now, is learning how to play with headphones on.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go.
All right.
Let's see if I can fix the angle.
There we go. Beautiful. I love it. 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 Oh my God. Thank you so much. So it looks like we've got questions about you trying Indian instruments. I know you're going to be digging into a lot of different things.
I have to do the sitar. That I've got my hands on one before. I can't. The sitar is intimidating. So hey, Sarvesh, Dr. Sarvesh, I would love to do the sitar. I've tried it once. It's painful because you have to wear this like little pick on your finger. It's metal, and you squeezes your fingertip. And the player, he gave me the pick, and he said, "Here you go." And he put it on, and I got ready to play. I said, "Oh no, you put it on wrong. This hurts." And he goes, "That's how you know it's on right." And I said, "Oh geez, okay. I think that'll take a little bit."
Oh my gosh.
You got to build up a callus, I guess, around where the thing is on your finger. But yeah, I would love to try out more of that. There's so many instruments. There's so little time.
Oh my gosh. Well, speaking of time, we just have a couple minutes left. I want to share one more video that I absolutely adore. This to me is like the culmination of your early music prowess and your heavy metal roots. So if anyone is familiar with the St. John Passion by Johann Sebastian Bach, you may recognize this opening tune. in another world.
Should have used the Theorbo.
Absolutely.
Use a couple of brown notes.
Oh man, I know, getting tired. But here's the deal. If anybody wants to hear this whole shebang, which you should, you can go to Brandon's YouTube page and experience it for yourself. We also have links to all the videos that we shared today in the description of this video. Brandon, thank you so much for being here. Oh, don't die.
We're good. We're alive.
Everything, any strings go? Are we good?
I think this thing could probably do without a couple strings, so we're good. I just want to say thanks for tuning in and thanks for having me on. This is great.
Yeah, thank you everybody for watching today. And if you're watching on the replay, we hope you take a look at some of our other videos and join us for our next Meet the Artists. Next Tuesday, I will be talking with Anna Steinhoff. Speaking of beautiful viola da gamba,
she's so good.
She is our principal cellist and viola da gamba player. So she'll be here on Tuesday. On Thursday, we'll have a new episode of Third Coast Thursday with one of our board members, James Klock, Yuri Leswyvanov. He is the recording arts chair at Flashpoint College in downtown Chicago. So he's going to be talking about a lot of AV stuff. Oh, so get your geek hats on for that. I know Brandon will probably be watching. I love it. And just a reminder, everybody, we do have our Third Coast Baroque Artist Support Fund. So you can help support artists like Brandon, Acker, and the rest of our artists who are currently out of work right now because of this pandemic. I mean, that's the situation that we're in. So thirdcoastbaroque.org/donate. You can make a contribution there if you like. Otherwise, look for us online. We're at thirdcoastbaroque.org, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe, follow, do all those fun things. And Brandon, have a great week. Good luck teaching your 5 million lessons all over the world. And everybody, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again